because ours is really funny.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the board of May 20th to order. First, like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional land of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by the communities of Saugeen First Nation and the Chippewas of Nawash unceded First Nation. We also think of the Métis Nation of Ontario, whose history and people are well represented in Bruce and Grey counties. We have received no regrets this evening. We have, as you can see, Trustee McComb joining us online, and I'm expecting Trustee Ritchie to be joining us online. This past Friday was World Education Personnel Support. I'll start that again. This past Friday was World Education Support Personnel Day. It was a chance to acknowledge and thank our Blue Water District School Board education workers who are the backbone of our schools and work sites. These include our many exceptional educational support professionals, ESPs, office professionals and technicians, OPT, professional student services personnel, PSSP, and the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE, staff. We also celebrated National Principals Day on May 1st in honor of our wonderful group of school administrators across Blue Water. Then there was National Volunteer Week at the start of the month in dedication to the many amazing volunteers who generously donate their time in a variety of ways to foster an excellent school experience for our students. For our reflection, I would like to recognize all these individuals along with our many other staff and partners, both on the front lines and behind the scenes. Our students benefit immensely from a skilled and dedicated team of unsung heroes who contribute to our system in countless ways. We are to the approval of our agenda, and I will be looking for a mover and a seconder that the agenda for the regular meeting of the board of May 20th, 2025 be approved as printed. I see Trustee McComb and Trustee Peters. And welcome Trustee Ritchie. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest on any of the items on our agenda this evening? I've seen none. We have 4 sets of minutes to approve. So I'll start with the approval of the regular meeting of the board minutes from April 15th. Could I have a mover and seconder that the minutes of the regular meeting of the board April 15th, 2025 be approved as printed? Trustee Morgan, Trustee Craig? Are there any errors or omissions that anyone sees? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Secondly, that the minutes of the special regular meeting of the board of April 29th, 2025 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover? Trustee Atkinson, seconded by Trustee Lutz. And again, is there any errors or omission in the set of minutes? I see none, all in favor? Is carried. The next set, the minutes of the Committee of the Whole Board meeting of May 6th, 2025 be approved as printed. Could I have a mover, please? Trustee Morgan, Trustee Johnstone. Errors or omissions? I see none. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. And finally, that the minutes of the special regular meeting of the board of May 13th, 2025 be approved as printed. Can I have a mover? Trustee Lutz and Trustee McCormick. And finally, is there any errors or omission on this? I see none. All in favor? And that is carried. Was there any any business arising from the minutes? None. Welcome, Trustee Long. There are no delegations this evening, and so we are to our Student Voice Project, and I would like to welcome Superintendent of Education May to speak to this report.
Thank you for your patience. Chair, trustees, guests. I'm so proud to be the senior team representative that works with our student senate every year. And this year, every year I seem to say it, this year they excelled. They were absolutely amazing, and they came, we probably had the best attendance that I can ever remember in the last, 10 years. They came, they worked, they contributed, they offered their voice whenever I asked. And we had a number of different community groups that actually came, and they wanted to hear from the students in the community. So we had Gray and Bruce representatives from the counties that would actually come, and because they heard that we have good turnout and that we have great student voice here in Bluewater. So we were able to offer that as a service, I think, to everyone in the two counties. This year we had the student voice presentation, and I have some students here who are going to be introducing it to you, and then we're going to showcase one of the videos.
Hello everyone. We wanted to build on the work done by the previous student senates around enhancing and empowering student voice in the last 3 years. The Student Senate has provided input in the organization and successful implement of several student forums, including the Equality Leadership Forum, Indigenous Student Forum, Black Student Forum, and Rainbow Student Forum. These efforts have greatly enhanced the student voice within Bluewater and strengthened and supported our district.
In previous years, the Senate has focused on projects such as the Period Poverty Initiative and most recently, Climate Action and Earth Day initiatives. We are proud of the efforts of previous student senates, and we know that these efforts will leave long-lasting impacts in our future. Period poverty is an issue within every school, and the provisions of these necessary products to our washrooms for all students is an essential right.
This year, we wanted to help amplify the student voice across all grades. We created the Student Voice Project, allowing students to share audio recordings for a number of prompts for two very different audiences. One audience was our education staff, and the prompts were, for grades K to 6, what makes you want to go to school? How can your teachers help you learn? And why is your favorite class your favorite class? For grades 7 to 12, what is the best way for you to demonstrate your learning? What assessment methods are best? What sets you up for success? And what could your teachers do to support you to be successful?
The second audience were parents and guardians. And the questions we asked to these students were, for K to 6, how can your parents or guardians help you with your learning? And what questions do you like to be asked after school? For grades 7 to 12, are you involved at your school? If not, what supports do you need in order to increase your involvement? And how can your parents or guardians support your learning?
Thank you to the Communications Department and especially Alex Lamont Thompson, who was able to help assemble the following video. This is the first of 4 videos that will be shared on the website in the near future, highlighting what we have learned through the Student Voice Project. We hope that our audiences will listen carefully and learn from the project.
What is the best way for you to demonstrate your learning?
The best way for me to demonstrate my learning is through assignments and class discussions.
Classwork,
and just day-to-day work rather than full tests?
The best way for me to demonstrate my learning is definitely in assignments and like presentations rather than tests and exams.
Hands-on learning. I think like I demonstrated my learning at school best through like tests and stuff like that.
I think by like sitting with a teacher beside me and then like showing them what I can do and then them like showing me where I went wrong are like better ways to like answer the question.
Probably like a visual presentation.
By kind of applying it to things that I enjoy doing outside of school, like my own hobbies.
The next question is, what assessment methods are best for you?
Like it's different for everyone.
Constructive criticism.
Working in groups.
Okay.
Tests.
Tests.
Doing stuff like hands-on. Definitely tests.
I think by like demonstrating practice problems and like textbook questions as well, but like also like explaining things slowly and like clearly.
Personal assignments, not like test taking.
Usually not tests, just because it's hard to focus, but I would say probably projects that allow me to take my time on them and figure out what I want to actually do.
What sets you up for success?
I'm most successful when I have room to grow and make mistakes, and I can be independent, but I also have someone there on standby.
Yeah, like ask for help and make sure to study.
A good teacher.
Probably having a good learning environment to be in.
A great teacher who is supportive sets me up for success.
What sets me up for success is when teachers provide extra help during lunchtime.
I think a good teacher who actually cares about their students.
Given a little more leeway, just because like if like you're a little more creative student that doesn't think like one way, like right brain, left brain, then you kind of just like allow yourself to just like be more free in school. It allows you to succeed better.
I think a teacher that cares about how I'm actually doing in the class and like gives me like support.
How could your teachers support you to be more successful at school?
For teachers to set me up for success, they can provide worksheets that are similar to questions on the test.
Maybe like some time to like go do it with a teacher for some extra help.
My teachers can set me up for success by homework and extra help.
Maybe one-on-one.
My teachers can provide me with a detailed review to set me up for success.
For tests, like posting reviews and stuff like that is really important for students, especially those who don't take tests very well.
Sitting with me, talking with me, and like ensuring that I understand what I'm doing.
My teachers can give me homework and assignments which can set me up for success. Giving us study periods, like longer study periods.
By like understanding like different ideas and like different just concepts that like might not be taught directly in class but can be contributed to like the lesson.
If they notice that a student is struggling, I would say taking the time to work with that student to figure out what's best for them so that later in their education they don't have to struggle as much.
Thank you so much. Do trustees have any questions or comments they'd like to make? Trustee Atkinson.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for being brave enough to use your voice. I have been privileged, and I say privileged, to work with 7 teams of student senators and trustees, and I keep saying every year, that was a good team. And I have to concur that this year was an amazing team. You did a wonderful job. And I have always said that if we close our mouths, open our ears, you all have stories to tell us that we can learn from JK to grade 12. And I just want to say thank you very much for sharing your stories with us.
Any other questions or comments? I have one for you. Was it more difficult than you thought or easier than you thought to get student participation and their voice?
Through the chair, most of the students wanted to leave class, so they were very willing, wanting to participate, especially the grade 8s. Like I had half the class raise their hands for this, so no, like they were really happy. So.
Trustee Peter.
Question for you. Was this information kind of shared with your teachers, and was there ever going to be any type of kind of moving forward with teachers rethinking assessment and evaluation and feedback and all that good stuff?
I'm going to field this one through the chair. And we did talk about this at the very outset of this and what the purpose of this would be. Capturing that student voice is only important if we get it back to the people who, the audience it's serving. So we are going to be posting them on the website once they're all done. We only have one completed because we just finished collecting all the data a few weeks ago. So Alex was able to put the one together for demonstration purposes tonight. We'll get the other ones finished. It'll probably be a June, maybe a summer project to get those done. And then they'll be sharing at the system administrator meetings, so with principals, for them to take back, share with educators at staff meetings so that they hear directly from the students what they're saying. They'll also be posted on the website, so we'll put some communication out saying, please have a look and listen. And as well, we'll probably promote through social media for parents to listen as well. Because some of those valuable comments, the questions, I don't know if you were able to hear the questions before, like, what kind of questions do you like to be asked about school? Because a lot of people, the parents will ask the same questions I used to ask. What did you do today? Nothing. Better questions, like there's some really good questions that you can ask, and students are quite observant and they know what you should be asking them when they get home. So it'll be interesting to see and hear.
Dr. Wilder. I was just going to say, what a wonderful initiative. Amazing. Thank you for bringing the voice of students forward. That's the most important voice we have here in this board. And I just have to, I know you're going to be recognized later in the agenda, but I tell you, this Student Senate has been so engaged this year. It's fabulous just to see you here and putting together these tangible projects is fantastic. So thanks so much for your participation throughout the whole year, all of you. It's wonderful, and as well for this kind of project. Thank you.
Trustee Creed.
It is wonderful to see your smiling faces and your enthusiastic engagement. But I wonder, as you ask the questions of your fellow students, are there any negatives? Are there any grumbles they have? Are there any frustrations that they have? And did any come through as sort of common among your student friends?
Through the chair, so when I was doing this video, there was some negativity towards some teachers that was cropped out, obviously, because I just didn't feel like it was appropriate to have. But yeah, like some students felt like some teachers weren't supporting them to their best of need. Yeah, that's about it really. It really does come down to like the chemistry of the student and the teacher, right? Like if the teacher doesn't like the student, obviously they're not, and if the student doesn't like the teacher, it's not going to be the greatest for the student. But at the end of the day, like there should be like a middle ground or a compromise for both students and teachers so that they can both have the best experience as students and teachers.
I was really interested in questions. I used to be a researcher. So my question here had to do with were there any particular gray areas, I'm going to use that, or differences in terms of, and like there would be differences in different responses from various groups of students. For some groups, was it more difficult to answer the questions? Like sometimes you pose a question and they didn't really get it. Like, so I'm going to ask you one, is that, did you kind of do some test questions to get results to realize, oh, we need to frame this question differently? And were there some questions that, or some students, they found it difficult to respond?
So we have 3 students who are part of K-12 schools, so I think they had an opportunity to survey and ask questions of a lot of different students. So I'm wondering if one of the 3 of you wanted to maybe answer that question, just in terms of,
Yeah, so when I was talking to the younger students, and older students too, it wasn't just the K-12 or K-6 range, but we did go over the questions in advance before I asked them so that they had time to prepare their answers and really think about what they wanted to say.
through the chair. So when I made my video, I tried to get different demographics from our school, students that are knowingly wanting to go into trades, students that are going to university, students that are going to college. What I did was I read that question beforehand, and so I did it through grades 7 to 12. For the 7 to 8, I had to sometimes restate a question, so this is like the second take. I took the best take out of the two. I felt like that worked best.
Any other questions or comments? I don't see any. You did an excellent presentation here. So, did you have some? Okay. An excellent presentation for us. We'll look forward to seeing more of the videos when they get posted. And thank you again for all the work you did. We are to reports. We have Committee of the Whole Board reports, and I'd like to invite Vice Chair Johnstone to present the report and the recommendations from the Committee of the Whole from May 6th.
Going to actually put the motions forward. So I'll be moving the motion and then I'll be asking for someone to second it. So that the Blue Water District School Board approved that the Peninsula Shores District School students participate in the Europe Cultural and Reflective Field Trip March 13th, 21st, 2026, contingent that it aligns with all travel advisories at the time of the trip. Can I have someone seconding that, please? Thompson. Is there any questions, comments concerning the motion before you? I see none, so all in favor, and that is carried. I'm moving that the Blue Water District School Board approve that Georgian Bay Community School students participate in the outdoor education Killarney field trip October 6th to the 10th, 2025. And I have someone second that. Thank you, Trustee Morgan. Any comments, questions? I see none. All in favor? Next, that the Blue Water District School Board approve that Bruce Peninsula District School students participate in the Fall Hike Outer Program October 15th to the 17th, 2025, and Algonquin Outers Canoe Trip May 14th to the 22nd, 2026. Can I have someone second that, please? Thank you very much, Trustee Atkinson. Any questions, comments concerning that motion to do with this trip? See none, all in favor? And that is carried. And finally, that the Blue Water District School Board changed the regular meeting of the board from the third Tuesday to the fourth Tuesday in March 2026. It's moved by myself. Can I have someone second that, please? And I see Trustee McComb online. Any questions, comments concerning that? See none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
And secondly, I'd like to invite Vice Chair Johnstone to speak to the Business Committee of the Whole Board from May the 6th and the recommendation coming out of that.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to do the actual motion that's been put forth. You have the information before you that the Blue Water District School Board approved adding Beaver Crest Community School and High Point Senior School to the list of schools eligible for Rural and Northern Education Fund allocation. I'm moving it. Can I have someone second that, please? And I see Trustee Lutz. Any questions or comments concerning that? I see none. All in favor? And that is carried, and that's the end of that.
Thank you. There is no report from the Committee of the Whole Board in camera this evening. Are there any new notice of motions? I see none. There are no new committee establishments or appointments at this point this evening. which takes us to our trustee code of conduct complaint. I'm just going to put a little context around it, and then we have a couple of motions to vote on. At the April 15th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees considered a report from ADR Chambers Integrity Commissioner Michael Maynard regarding an investigation into a breach of the trustee code of conduct. It was determined that Trustee Long had contravened the trustee code of conduct, specifically sections 2.2, 2.4, and 3.33, and the board applied the following sanctions. That the Board of Trustees censure Trustee Long, and that the Board of Trustees barred Trustee Long from attending the June 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the board, and that the Board of Trustees bar Trustee Long from sitting on all committees of the board for the period of 90 days beginning June 1st, 2025 and ending October 30th, 2025, so not to include the months of July and August when there are no scheduled board committee meetings, and that the Board of Trustees remove Trustee Long from the audit committee and appoint a new trustee for the remainder of the 2024-2025 appointment. Under the Code of Conduct, a trustee has the right to appeal the initial determination and will be given at least 14 days in order to provide written submissions, after which time the Board of Trustees will consider two items: whether to confirm or revoke its determination of a breach, and if the board confirms its determination of a breach, the board must then consider whether to confirm, vary, or revoke the sanctions that are imposed. The board is following the processes outlined in Board Policy BP 1108-D Code of Conduct Trustee in accordance with the Education Act that were in place at the time the complaints were filed. I would just like to also add, Trustee Long may not participate in the deliberations or the vote, and shall not, we shouldn't be asking any questions at this meeting of Trustee Long. Trustee Long was provided with a notice of determination on April 16th, 2025 by email and mail, following the April 15th regular meeting of the board. May 9th was his deadline to provide submissions. So Trustee Long did not provide any written submissions. Therefore, we will now move to the final determination of the Board of Trustees, whether to confirm or revoke the determination made on April 15, 2025, that Trustee Long contravened the Trustee Code of Conduct. And I will put the motion on the floor. And I'll need a mover and seconder that the Blue Water District School Board confirm the determination made on April 15, 2025, that Trustee Long has contravened the Trustee Code of Conduct, specifically sections 2.2, 2.4, and 3.33, as outlined in the Integrity Commissioner's report. Could I have a mover, please? Trustee Morgan, a seconder. Trustee Peters. Is there any discussion? I see none. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. So that moves us to the final determinations of sanctions. And now that we've confirmed the determination, we'll move to the agenda item, which is the final determination of sanctions for Trustee Long. And I will put this motion on the floor for discussion. And before I read it, or I guess I'll read it and then we'll get a mover and seconder. That the Blue Water District School Board confirm the sanctions imposed on Trustee Long at the regular meeting of the board on April 15, 2025, as follows. That the Board of Trustees censure Trustee Long. That the Board of Trustees bar Trustee Long from attending the June 17, 2025 regular meeting of the board. And that the Board of Trustees bar Trustee Long from sitting on all committees of the board for a period of 90 days beginning June 1st, 2025 and ending October 30th, 2025, so not to include the months of July and August when there are no scheduled board and committee meetings, and that the Board of Trustees remove Trustee Long from the Audit Committee and appoint a new trustee for the remainder of the 2024-2025 appointment. Could I have a mover and seconder? Trustee Atkinson, Trustee Johnstone. Is there any discussion? I see none. All in favor? That's carried. So our next job, with Trustee Long's seat on the Audit Committee now vacant, we are required to fill this vacancy. So I invite any trustees interested in filling this vacancy to self-nominate. This appointment will be in place for the remainder of the term until the initial meeting of the board in November. Is there anyone interested? Trustee Peters? We're looking for just one person, but if anyone else is interested, then we'll I don't see anyone else, so welcome, that's terrific. So I'm going to put a motion on the floor that Blue Water District School Board appoint one trustee to the Audit Committee for the remainder of the current terms. That is Trustee Peters. Could I have a mover and seconder? Trustee Hughes. All in favor? That is carried. And one of the sanctions that was approved this evening was that Blue Water District School Board censured Trustee Long, and I will now read that censure statement. At the regular meeting of the board held this evening, Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, the Board of Trustees determined by vote that Trustee Derek Long contravened multiple sections of the Trustee Code of Conduct. One of the approved sanctions the Board of Trustees agreed to is censure. This statement serves as a public censure. We, the Board of Trustees, voted in favor of accepting the results of the investigation carried out by Integrity Commissioner Michael Maynard of ADR Chambers, which found that Trustee Long breached the following sections of the Trustee Code of Conduct. 2.2. In addition to the specific items outlined in this policy, each trustee shall comply with board policies, procedures, and bylaws, including but not limited to BP 1102D Role Description Board of Trustees, BP 1106-D Role Description Trustee, and AP 1901-D Trustee Use of Board Resources during an election period. It's a quote from that section. If you're wondering about the specific identified policies. Trustee 2.4, trustee conduct expectation is outlined in this policy. Also include online behavior. Trustee behavior through email, social media, and other online systems must be respectful of board policy and confidentiality expectations. And 3.33, every trustee shall understand and respect the roles and duties of the individual trustees, the board, the director of education, and the chair. As the Board of Trustees for Blue Water District School Board, it is disappointing to once again find ourselves in the unfortunate position of imposing sanctions on Trustee Long. This latest situation speaks to a troubling pattern of reckless behavior by Trustee Long that places the integrity and reputation of our board at a precarious position, while potentially eroding public trust in the work we do as trustees. As elected representatives, trustees uphold an especially high standard as community leaders and role models for our public education system. When we fall short of this standard in the course of our work, the entire system is negatively impacted. Our role is centered around governance, which includes the important responsibility of establishing board policies that promote accountability throughout the system. When a trustee does not abide by one or more of these policies, as has been the case with Trustee Long, our work as trustees is undermined and public confidence in our organization is shaken. During a time of increased cyber threats to school boards and other public organizations, our staff have been vigilant to ensure we are following best practices in keeping the information of students and staff protected. Email access restrictions have been implemented for countries outside of Canada to limit our exposure to attacks from criminal organizations. By deliberately circumventing these security measures through his repeated attempts to access his board email from outside of Canada, Trustee Long has demonstrated a complete disregard for our policies while jeopardizing the cybersecurity of our board. His conduct in this matter has been irresponsible, defiant, and falls short of the high standards expected of him in his role as trustee. This behavior sets a poor example among our students, staff, communities, and contravenes our commitment to responsible digital citizenship as outlined in our board's multi-year strategic plan. We remain hopeful that Trustee Long will use this experience to reflect on this and learn from the seriousness of his actions with a view of taking corrective measures to ensure this will not be repeated in the future. And that takes us to reports for information. And I would like Student Trustee White to present the Student Senate report.
Thank you. All right. As we all know, schools and our board have about one more month of classes with exams soon to come. Many students are preparing for the end of the year and for what will come in September. So today, we are joined by next year's incoming Student Senate. Welcome. As well, many events are currently taking place and in the works. Sports seasons are coming to a close with track and field, rugby, soccer, badminton, and many more finishing up soon. Next month, OSDSS will be hosting OFSA for lacrosse, where they are welcoming over 300 athletes from all across Ontario. Schools have also had many fun sporting events, such as an OPP versus student basketball game, a staff versus student baseball game, and an upcoming pickleball tournament. Additionally, Relay for Life will be hosted at KDSS, GHSS, GBSS, and JDSS at the end of the month. It is a Canadian Cancer Society fundraiser where students sign up in teams of 10 and spend the day walking the track to raise awareness and to raise funds for cancer research. At the end of April, Model United Nations clubs at GHSS, OSDSS, JDSS, and KDSS had the chance to attend SOMA, the Southern Ontario Model United Nations Assembly, hosted at the University of Toronto's St. George campus. This conference welcomed over 600 delegates from all across Ontario and some from other provinces. Congratulations to all of our delegates who represented our board at their individual committees. This Thursday, mock trial clubs at OSDSS, GHSS, SMHS, and SHSS, they are not in our boards, will be competing in a mock trial at the Owen Sound Courthouse. All clubs have been diligently preparing their cases to win for either the Crown or the defense. Good luck to all of our mock trial lawyers and witnesses. Many schools have gone on many exciting trips, such as GBCS. Students had the opportunity to go on both a Europe trip and the music trip to New York. As well, JDSS students went on the arts trip to New York City. All of the students enjoyed this amazing opportunity to go abroad and learn more about the world around them. Many events are occurring at this time of year, like Grade 8 Day, Senior Day, Tractor Day, and Picnic Day, as well as several conferences and learning opportunities, like BWDS's Footprints Conference, an Anti-Hate Seminar, an Indigenous Student Forum, and KDSS's Multicultural Fair. Next month, many schools will be preparing for prom, a final celebration for seniors. Additionally, commencement for some schools will be taking place next month as well, to celebrate students earning their diplomas. Students are excited to continue on their journey wherever it may lead them. Thank you.
Thank you. It is a very exciting time of year for all of you. Are there any questions? Trustee Morgan.
Just a comment. Terrific report. Thanks.
Trustee Lutz.
Thank you very much. And I just have a question, if you could elaborate on Tractor Day and Picnic Day.
All right, I'll do my best. So Tractor Day is from my own school. I'm not sure how many schools in our board do it, but it might be specifically to Grey Highlands. It's a long-standing event, hosted every year, because we are from a very country population at Grey Highlands, so I think this is the event that brings about the most engagement. All the kids drive their tractors to school, they're all in the parking lot, and then they vote on which tractor they like best, and there's a full barbecue and everything. And as for picnic day, I don't know. I think it was at Walkerton District High School. I just heard about it today, and I can't really elaborate that much farther on it.
Great Highlands and their tractor day, I could not believe it until the first time I went, how much enthusiasm went into tractors. It was, the parking lot was full, it was magical, the enthusiasm over John Deere versus the Ford versus the Massey Ferguson. I couldn't believe the enthusiasm over tractors. So kudos to your school for doing that.
I think it's our best event. At least many of the kids would say so.
Yeah, it was well attended.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed.
Is there just one prize? Like, is it for the fanciest tractor, or is it for,
It gets voted on. There's ballots, and there's a prize for first, second, and third prize winner. I think there's different categories, like best looking tractor, biggest tractor, newest tractor. I don't know. These are in the works, the awards.
It's something to see.
It certainly is.
Given the amount of snow we seem to have had this winter, does anybody remember that? Yeah? I'm wondering if you have snowmobile days when students are encouraged to bring their snowmobiles to school and maybe do races or whatever.
To tell you the truth, kids already do that. In the winter, I'm not joking, parking lot, I've seen several people drive their snowmobiles. And in the summertime, four-wheelers. So it really is just a matter of season.
thank you so much for your report. We are to our staff reports, and we are going to be recognizing our 2024-2025 student trustees and senators, and Superintendent Lefebvre is going to speak to this report.
Thank you through the chair. I just asked for all the 2024-2025 student senators and trustees to come forward and line up in the order that I indicated before. And Madeline. Thank you. What an amazing group of students that we've had this year. And again, I echo what was said previously. Every year they just seem to get better and better. This year the engagement was so high. I know that even at the table, when there were opportunities for our student trustees to speak up and ask questions or make comments, they did so. And I encouraged them, Director Wilder encouraged them, and I thank you, all of you, for encouraging them. And I think it led to some very productive conversations and meetings. So I'm going to ask each of them, I'm going to introduce them, and then I'm going to ask them each to just step forward, say a brief something, really brief, remember I said, and then say what you are going to be doing next year. Okay? Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ronald Sen, student senator from British Peninsula District School Board. Next year, I'll be completing my grade 12 graduation and the rest of my grade 12 courses.
I'm Maya Kearns. I'm from GBCS, and I will also be going again for grade 12 and completing my courses.
My name is Amy White from Grey Highlands. I'm one of this year's student trustees. I really enjoyed the role. And next year I'll be attending the University of Toronto to major in life sciences, specifically molecular biology and maybe physics.
Hi, so my name's Emmy Kingston, and I was the student senator for John Deacon Baker Senior School in Hanover. And next year I'll be returning as a student senator in my grade 12 year.
Hi, my name is Ishpreet Gill, and I am a student senator for this year representing KDSS. And next year I will be attending Western University in the hopes of pursuing a career in medicine.
Hi, my name is Hayden Powell. I'm another student trustee. I represent Owensound District Secondary School. And next year I will be attending the University of Toronto St. George campus for political science. So looking forward to that.
Future.
I am Madeline Carson. I'm from Peninsula Shores District School, and next year I will be attending McMaster University for life sciences.
Testing. Hi, I'm Barry Wesley, and I'm the Indigenous Student Senator for Saugeen District Senior School, and I'm going to college for 3 foundations to become a police officer.
Hi, I'm Marwan Bayoumi. I'm the other student senator at Saugeen District Senior School. For next year, I'm supposed to be going in mechanical engineering. Still not quite sure where I'm going. I'm still on the fence. I'm either going to Western, Guelph, or Ontario Tech.
Hi, I'm Hazel Carmen. I'm the WDCS student senator for this year, and next year I'll be going to U of T Scarborough campus for health sciences.
So we just had one person who was absent today, Adelia Jacobs. She was finishing up a dual credit, so they were happening on Tuesday night, so she's missed the last few meetings. She will be here, though, for the last 2 meetings of the year. Thank you very much to the group, and maybe we could do a little bit of a pose with where would you like to do that? Do you want to do that with you as well? Or would you two like to? Could we do that? He's better at this.
Yeah, around the table.
Oh, yeah, around the table. Yeah. No.
Sorry, I was just thinking you'd roll right into the next one, but I'll introduce.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was waiting for the intro.
Yeah, so next we're going to meet our new 2025-2026 student trustees and senator, and we'll turn it over to Superintendent Lefebvre.
Thank you. It's the Superintendent Lefebvre Show. So Thank you, Chair, and all the trustees and guests. So our 25-26 Student Senate was elected about 6 weeks ago within their schools. We have 9 secondary schools here in Bluewater. So there are representatives from all 9 schools, including 2 Indigenous student senators from both Saugeen District as well as Peninsula Shores. So that makes 11 student senators. And then of those, during our orientation meeting, they're allowed to self-nominate them for the trustee position. So we had a number of people that wanted to be this student trustee sitting in the position there, that Trustee White and Trustee, why am I losing it? Powell. Sorry, your name tag was facing the wrong way. That Trustee Powell are sitting in. So we did have 2 successful applicants and voted on by their peers, and I will recognize them. So from Bruce Peninsula District School, Quinton Youngnet is not here this evening. Quinton was nominated as a student senator. From Georgia Bay Community School, Olivia Buckton, if you could stand. From Great Highlands Secondary School, we have Jack Farmas. Jack was nominated by his peers to be a student trustee next year, so he will be sitting at the board table. Thank you, Jack. We have Evie Kingston and Evie from John Diefenbaker Senior School. Welcome back, Evie. She will be helping with Delia. She will be 2 of the veterans, one of the 2 veterans that will be helping with the group. From Kincardine District Senior School, we have Isha Gill. Isha was also nominated as one of the 2 student trustees, so she'll be sitting at the table with Jack. From Owen Sound District Secondary School, Owen McIntyre. Owen could not be with us this evening. Delia Jacob will be returning from Peninsula Shores District School. Again, she's not here this evening. Also from Peninsula Shores District School, Clover Cunningham. Clover? I was talking with Clover about the Ag SHSM. She's part of that. And obviously we're proudly wearing her cousin's Guelph University sweater there. Maybe hoping to be an Aggie sometime in the future. Saugeen District Senior School, Ella Crescetta. Ella? And also from Saugeen District Senior School, Blake Bork. Blake could not be with us this evening. And from Walkerton District Community School, Leopold Baker. So let's give a big welcome to our new Student Senate for next year. I think they very much enjoyed the meal tonight. What a good, we always promise them good meals, so they're happy so far. I think they'll be back in September, so that's good. Thank you very much, and look forward to working with all of you next year.
I echo that. We obviously have some big shoes to fill to follow this group that are exiting, but please know everyone here is here to support and be helpful, and we look forward to your contributions next year. Thank you. And as it is the Superintendent Lefebvre show this evening, we're going to have a report on the Bluewater Outdoor Education Center, and I would like to invite Superintendent Lefebvre to begin that report.
Thank you very much, Chair, trustees, and guests. So I'm going to ask Deb Diebel to come forward, and while I bring the PowerPoint presentation up, she can start a little bit of an introduction. Deb is our site manager at the Outdoor Education Center. I know that she's been here to speak to many of you previously, and she's going to share some of the wonderful things that we're doing in our 52nd year? 52nd year at the Outdoor Education Center, just north of Wyerton.
All right, good evening, Ani Bojo. Thank you for having me here this evening. It's so nice to see so many familiar and friendly faces in the crowd. And I'm happy to hear of all of the successes of the Student Senate. I'm a little bit nervous to follow some of your acts this evening. We're a very impressive crew, so we're very lucky to have you and have you represent our board as you move into your next exciting phase. I don't want to get too much ahead of myself. All right, so as Keith mentioned, I am the site manager at the Blue Water Outdoor Education Center, and this evening I'm just here to share some highlights from our year. So as a reminder, the Blue Water Outdoor Education Center mission statement is on the screen. It's really rooted in taking Ontario curriculum outdoors to create engaging and enduring memories for our students of learning in and from nature so that they grow into adults who value and consider nature in their adulthood and in their future decisions. We are in our 52nd year of operation at the Blue Water Outdoor Education Center, and we continue to be very proud of the work that we do to take learning outside. But there's more. Our work is, we're finding, lending itself really well to supporting the Blue Water District School Board's multi-year strategic plan and priorities as well. And while I don't have time this evening to dig too deeply into this, I've included the priorities that we feel we best support in many of the slides for your reference. So you'll see them referenced at the bottom of a lot of the slides. By the time this school year is over, we will have supported 17 grade 7 and 8 camping trips to our campground at Spry Lake, over 50 overnight retreats for grade 6 students who have stayed in the dorms, and 12 single-day trips. That's okay, thanks. In total, we will have facilitated curriculum and nature-informed outdoor learning experiences for over 2,000 students. In addition to our regular programming, this spring we were the host site for meetings which brought secondary math, English, and geography teachers together with expert Anishinaabe local knowledge keepers to incorporate more Indigenous content and worldview into the high school curriculum. So we had 2 meetings for that. And we were thrilled at the beginning of this month to host the Indigenous Student Forum, which brought about 90 youth together with highly skilled community members to learn traditional practices. And Jamie has shared a lot of articles about the kinds of workshops that the students attended. So I'll just comment that we love that we can be a host site and provide a safe spot for these students to connect. Some of the student senators were there for that event, and I just noticed walking around, everyone seemed so relaxed, so engaged, and just so happy that day. So that was wonderful to see. One of the highlights of the day for me was seeing the girls wandering around in their ribbon skirts. And these had been made for them by another student in the school board. So this initiative, facilitated by Melissa Coggy-Ritchie, it was so community building and so empowering for these young women, and a lot of them were wandering around talking about how they wanted to make another skirt for somebody else. Climate change and sustainability are the pressing issues of our time. So this year we're diving into becoming a Learning for Sustainable Future school to address these issues with outdoor and cross-curricular learning. We've partnered with LSF, and we are finding that the UN's Sustainable Development Goals elevate our programs by suggesting paths forward and empowering our students to tackle real-life issues in their own lives. And we're hoping that we can really support and inspire the schools who are coming in for their visits to also go back and incorporate the SDGs into their curriculum. To close off, I came across this great quote the other day that really sums up what we're trying to do with our mission, and that is to allow nature to be the third teacher in the student experience of the OEC and a source of wisdom for our students. We might be the facilitators, but nature has different lessons for all of us, as does an overnight retreat experience like staying together with your classmates in the dorms. Each individual student learns and takes something different away from their experience. And the beauty of learning in nature is it's such a rich learning environment that in one program, the interests of different students can be addressed in many different ways. I was hiking this weekend with a group of women, and one of them was the mom to 2 students who are now in university. And she said to me, I was just so happy that my children had the experience of coming to the OEC, because I did when I was a student as well, and it was really important for me for them to have that experience. One of them has gone on to study his master's in biology, and the other is becoming a wildlife rehab, hopefully veterinarian, so she's working towards that. So we like to think that those stories are like proof positive of the impact that we're having on our students. Sometimes they leave and they're focused on the food and the dorms, but we know that we're having a long-term impact by the experiences that we're giving them. So to end this evening, I wanted to connect you with the student voice and the student experience. These are some students who are our most recent visitors, and you can hear from them. I hope you had a good dinner, because advanced learning, you will be hearing a lot about our chef and the food he prepares.
Action. Hi, my name is Nolan. I think that everyone should go to OECs. The food is amazing, and there's lots of fun riddles during lunch.
My name is Kyler, and I think you should go to OEC because the people here are amazing, and they have really good food, and they have the best games.
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I think you should go to OEC because it's really awesome to know what all your classmates' weaknesses and strengths are.
Hi, my name is Riley. I like to go to OEC, especially for the food, and I like the fur trade game. I've been here 3 times.
Hi, my name is Aiden. I want you guys to come to OEC because the food is amazing and the fur trade game is really fun.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and you can call me Alicia. That's what I'm normally known for. And I think you should come to OEC because it's really fun and you get to learn about Indigenous people a little bit more than you think.
Hi, my name is Mason. This is my first time at OEC. I really like the pop bottle rockets and I love chaperone.
Hi, my name is Fleur. I think you should come to OEC because it's a valuable learning experience. And the food is really good.
Hi, my name is Addie. I think you should go to OEC because it's really fun and the game of Survivor is really fun as well, and Chef Rob makes the best food.
Hi, my name is Parker. This is my first time at OEC, and my favorite part is the food. I got to spin on the road. That was my favorite part. I almost died.
Hi, my name is Kendall, and this is my second time here, and I really like the food in dorm time, but I especially liked learning about all the things Indigenous did.
Hi, my name is Emma. It's my first time being here, but I really like OEC because we got to do pop bottle rockets and it was really fun to learn about that. Hi, my name's Emma. I think you should go to OEC because Arthur and Peter are really funny and nice, and the food's really good.
Hi, my name is Holly. This is my first time here, and I think you guys should come here because all of the barn games are so much fun, and it teaches you how to work well with your classmates and each other.
Hi, my name is Ms. Clausen. I'm a teacher at HCCS. This is my 3rd time here, and I love OEC because I get to see all my students interact in ways that they never would normally in the classroom, and the staff here is phenomenal.
Hi, my name is Talay, and my favorite part of BOEC is the fur trade and also the rope swing and the barn games.
Thank you, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Do trustees have any questions or comments? Trustee Lutz.
Good, Chair. Thank you so much for your presentation and for all the work you do. I had the pleasure of going to the OEC as a student back when the food was horrible. It's important to know. Legends are written about that. And I also had the extreme privilege of going as a parent, chaperone just a couple of years ago. Yeah. And those students are still talking about their time at the OEC, and students who went with me when I was a kid are still talking about it, and it is such a special and unique learning experience that our students all absolutely love and grow from, and it is wonderful that we can provide it. And I just hope that something is in the works to help those that maybe missed their trips this year due to the weather, to make sure they get a chance, maybe next year or something.
Yes, we have paid up all of those trips with day trips.
Fantastic.
But hopefully they'll get another chance to come as well. Yeah. Thank you for those kind words.
Student trustee White?
To echo what Trustee Lute said, first, great presentation, I really enjoyed it. And as a student who also went on this trip, I think in grade 6, I to this day remember the stuff that we did. I don't remember the food actually like they said in the videos, but I really enjoyed the fur trade game and the end game where you were, yeah, that one. It was a really good experience, and I'm glad that students are still participating in it, because it was wonderful.
Thank you.
I've never been. I wasn't here like in this school board for grade 6, but for my leadership class, we work with a grade 6 class from Hillcrest, and when I tell you these kids won't stop talking about how much fun they had on their trip, it is constant. All I'm hearing about is how much fun they had, and I've heard it many times throughout the year during meetings and presentations we've gotten, so great job and keep up the good work, because I think the work you guys are doing is having long-lasting effects, positive effects on our students, and it's great that we have something like this, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Hopefully you'll get to come visit us.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be going there when I'm like 30, let that be known.
Trustee Gray?
I'd like to know a little more about the fur trade reference, what that's all about. And in particular, I'm wondering if there was much of a fur trade in Bruce County 150 years ago, and whether that history is part of that program.
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. I normally would start with the land acknowledgement, but I know you've done that. So yes, our property is steeped in a lot of Anishinaabe history. So we acknowledge that with all of our students when they come, that it's a traditional hunting and fishing ground. We have an archaeological dig that was done in the 80s, and they found a lot of artifacts and evidence of hunting and fishing camps on the shores of Boat Lake. And we have notes from Jesuit missionaries who came through and traded with the Anishinaabe on the shores of Boat Lake. And then we also know that it was an active part of the fur trade. The Anishinaabe had a very active fishery off the fishing islands in Oliphant. And then it was part of the fur trade throughout that, and then early settlements. So unfortunately, the Anishinaabe, as we know, were settled onto reserves just after 1855, and then the land was sold for farming. But we are really happy to be able to host things like the Indigenous Student Forum, and to also be partnering a lot with Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, and through Melissa Collier-Ritchie to have a lot of visits from SON and students in our board. And so we're doing a lot of partnership events and things with SON as well outside of school hours, so they still have quite a presence on our land. So, and the fur trade experience is a program that we do with students to teach them about the fur trade, and so they get to take the role of the voyageurs going out to the high country, which is going out to our different orienteering markers, and then they come back and they trade for furs, so there's a little bit of math, a little bit of history, and then we do talk about the impact of the fur trade on the local Anishinaabe community as well.
Excellent.
Director Wild?
I would just like to acknowledge Deb and her team for all the wonderful work you do there and the opportunities that you provide our student. It is a real jewel for all of us here at this board to have the Outdoor Ed Center, and you do a fantastic job of supporting that, so thanks very much. My son still tells the story in the survival game. I think he's very low on what was small in his nose.
Like a herbivore.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and how he was excitedly hiding, like he was still engaged in the game completely, but even though he's very low on the food chain. So he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think a mole maybe if that was. And then a shout out to Vera for being part of that PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So,
Parent offered for me to take his photo, so I appreciated that.
It's great to see you up there.
Yes.
So thanks.
Yeah. How many of you remember what animal you were when you played survival game? Yeah. It's so Wendy. So thank you for those kind words, Lori. I'll pass that to our staff. We have a phenomenal staff, so.
Trustee Atkinson.
I too have not been to the outdoor education center. And it's almost shameful to say out together. Hopefully before you're 30. But I must say, 2 weeks ago, I had a little friend that was going to the outdoor ed center for the day, and a special little friend. And he was amazed I hadn't gone. But when he came back the next day, he told me of all the things he did. And he did too comment on the food. He wished that he would get cooking lessons from Chef Rob.
Yeah, they all do. We all do.
I think anything Superintendent LaFave deals with in his portfolio revolves around food. But thank you for your presentation and all the great work that you do. I know the students in grade 6 in my areas are all eager, all ready to go next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Communications, there is no correspondence has been received. Are there, are there any announcements, communications, student trustees, staff, Ministry of Education, ops staff? Trustee Johnston.
So you will receive a summary of the OSPA meeting from May 2nd and 3rd in Toronto. But on your behalf, it was a motion that you passed here to the board for me to send OSPA. Had to do with a letter so that they would contact the Ministry of Education. So they helped me rework it to make it OSPA-like, because now you're coming from a provincial body as opposed to a school board body. So this was your motion. It's whereas the Ontario Public School Board Association is a Canadian entity that prioritizes supporting domestic industries and economic stability, and whereas recent trade policies have created challenges that may negatively impact fair and reciprocal trade between Canada and the United States, and whereas OSPA's policy 240, purchasing and procurement prioritizes service providers, businesses, and products that are Canadian, made in Canada, including Indigenous and equity-seeking providers and businesses, therefore be it resolved. That OSPA send a letter to the Minister of Education sharing OSPA's long-standing practice of prioritizing Canadian businesses and products and indicating a desire to support the implementation of any procurement measures that advance economic stability in Ontario and Canada. I also brought forward a motion that really was instigated because of things that are going on around the province in terms of the Ministry of Education and school boards, and it's around investigations and things like that. So this was brought forward, of course it was passed unanimously, and this is what this one said. Action Fund, the Ontario Public School Boards Association undertake a legal assessment of the legal rights of local school boards and the governance rights of OSPA Board of Directors, members, and delegates at the Ontario Public School Boards Association meetings while under supervision by the Ministry of Education in accordance with the Education Act, and that the OSPA Legal Action Fund be assessed for this legal assessment. So there has been, lots of things reported in the press around, say the government sending in auditors or investigating various boards across the province. It impacts all of us as school boards, and that there's some legal rights in here. So for example, when that motion came before OSPA, we had lots of conversations. So for example, under the Education Act in Ontario, it says that trustees must be represented at CEAC and SAL and the audit committee, and also suspension and expulsion. However, if you're suspending trustees and actually removing them, their duties in all committees, which has happened in a board in the province, then they actually can't, they end up contravening the Education Act. So this is what this is all about, and it's all about our their legal, obligations under the Education Act, and of course, in terms of, you could say, ensuring that school boards in the province are protected as they advocate on behalf of our students and staff in public education.
Any other announcements? Student trustee Powell?
More of a comment than an announcement. I know we still have a few more meetings left before we're done for the year, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. This has been an amazing experience and something I'm always going to remember. So thank you to everybody for your encouragement, for your feedback, for telling your stories, your experiences. It has been so beneficial. And to the student senators for next year, you guys are an awesome group of people, and I have confidence that you guys are going to do just as well and probably better than we did this year. So good luck, and thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for your kind words. Anybody else? Trustee Craig?
I would just like to say that our student senators this year have been more engaged, more vocal, and very positive influence on the board. So I would encourage the new crew to not be intimidated by this group of aged adults who seem to be in charge here. Figure you have some good ideas, put them forward, please.
Thank you. Are there any out-of-district meetings, conferences, conventions anyone wishes to share? I see none. You have your trustee calendar of events, which will be getting quite short to our June end. And with that, I would like a mover and a seconder that the Blue Water District School Board adjourn at 8:17 p.m. Trustee Craig, Trustee Peters, and safe home, everyone.